Guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today is very interesting because I've been doing this praying for your future husband challenge, and I asked the girlies on TikTok what questions they had. I got some in my comments and a lot in my DMs of questions that people have that they would like me to answer, and I'm gonna just dive into answering questions. There are 30 of them. We will see how far we get. Number one, how do you stay content in singleness when it feels hard? Gosh, I think the answer is to be thankful, to have gratitude for all the things around you that are good. There was this time in my life, actually my 29th birthday, I've told this story before. I had just transitioned out of my job at a church, and I was so blessed enough to be able to spend an extended amount of time with my grandparents. My grandfather was dying, he was on hospice. And I remember it was my 29th birthday, and I was just so sad. One, because I really wanted my future husband to meet my grandfather, and it's been something that I prayed about for so many years, and he was dying. So it was like, well, that's not happening. And I was just so distraught because I'm like, man, I live my life for Jesus. Like, I dedicate my entire life to Jesus. And I just feel like this has been an area where God just hasn't answered me. And I remember the entire day on my birthday, I stayed in my room and I cried. And my grandfather was there. So I was like missing out on this day that I could have spent with my grandfather. And I remember the Lord just speaking so dearly to my heart and saying, are you really going to forsake every blessing that you have for the one that you don't? That'll do it. That'll make you really thankful for the things around you. So I remember I stopped crying. I went downstairs and they were just like, who spends their birthday crying? But that's beside the point. But I feel like from that moment on, it has made me really thankful for my life. And it has really opened my eyes to the beauty around me. Does it feel hard? Yes. Is it seriously unfortunate that I haven't found anyone? Also, yes. Like, both things can be true, that you have this deep desire and seemingly like a hole in your heart for something that you really want in life, and also you have built a really beautiful, great life that you love. Both are true. So my encouragement there would be just to like ask God to help you see the beauty in the things that He's already blessed you with. Okay, number two, what's the best part about being single in your 30s? I'm gonna have to go with like not having to ask permission to do things. So like if I want to take a trip, I book the trip. If I want to go spend a weekend somewhere, I go do that. If I want to buy something, I buy it. Like there's really no other person to consider. So I'm really taking advantage of that while I can. Number three, how do you handle loneliness in this season? I think I said in a few other videos that like loneliness isn't something I feel often, but when I feel it, it is like the depths of the earth sadness. So when it comes, I just allow myself to feel it, and I just am really conscious about surrendering it into the Lord, because I do feel like loneliness is something you can drown in and not be able to get out of. And so I try not to let myself go that far. I definitely let myself feel it, let myself mourn what I need to mourn, let myself be sad and pity party and all the things, eat some ice cream. But I think the key is like bringing that sadness to the Lord, like Hannah did, where it's like, I'm not hiding this from you, God. I know you see the tears I'm crying, and I know you see how sad I am. So yeah, just bringing it to the Lord. Number four, do you ever struggle with comparison to friends who are married? Yes, but less than comparison. I feel like I struggle with insecurity and feeling less than, like seeing all of the people around you move into different seasons of your life where you feel stuck in a season that one you don't want to be in. So I struggle with that a lot. Or being in a room where like everyone's married and has kids, and you're just like older than everyone in the room, and that hasn't been your experience yet. So yeah, I really struggle with that, but I have just made a conscious effort and a conscious choice that like no one else is thinking that. It's an insecurity that I have, and I'm not going to shrink back from a really full, again, beautiful life with good community because I'm insecure. So it has taken a lot of courage on my part to continue to show up at things, because it is hard. It is a hard thing to deal with. What helps you enjoy your single season instead of wishing it away? Okay, I'm doing both. I'm definitely wishing it away, and also just, I don't know, like celebrating the good things about being single. And yeah, I mean, I definitely wish it was over. So I don't know if I can answer that question completely well, but I do enjoy it. Like, I would say 99% of the time I'm content and still desiring, and then there's 1% of the time where I'm like, this is old. I'm annoyed. Jesus, move, please. Okay, 6. How do you respond to people who ask, why are you still single? People don't ask it that way, but they do ask it in roundabout ways. And I don't know, I try to avoid the conversation because I feel like for some people, it's that they're picky or that their standards are high. Nothing wrong with that. I feel like my standards are not high, but they are secure. For me, I really just feel like it boils down to God's timing, and people don't understand that. People try and fix it, and they try and do whatever, which, like, honestly, I appreciate. It shows me how much they love me and care about me and want the desire that I want even more. But I think I just tell people, like, it's really not me, it's God, and there's nothing I can do about it. So there you go. What's one thing you've learned about yourself through singleness? I'm gonna go with a negative here. I am very type A, very controlling, and I'm having to learn how to relinquish control while I'm single, and how to not have everything my way, and to go out of my way to do things for other people so that selfishness doesn't grow. Because when you live a life where it's just you and there's really no one else to consider, I think it can make you selfish very quickly. And so I'm having to, like, for no reason, I'm having to be counterintuitive to that, so it's not so hard when I get married because I'm scared. How do you deal with the fear of what if it never happens? Ugh, that's a good question. I have tried to confront it. I have asked myself, what would your life look like if you don't get married? If you knew marriage was not on the table, if you knew that God said you were never going to get married, what would your life look like? And I've tried to live that life so that my life is great. Now, have I made peace with the idea of never being married? No. Because I feel like that's a hard one. And I'm not there yet. But I have dealt with the fear by just confronting it face first. How do you balance waiting while still living fully right now? I don't. I live fully right now. I don't. Waiting is not being still. It's being active and just living a full life. You would rather your husband find you while you're living a beautiful life that he can just come along and partner with you in than being stagnant. What encouragement would you give to someone who feels behind in life? Trust God. Because, like, society says that you are behind in life, and even biological clock tells you that you are behind in life. So again, I think it's acknowledging a truth and acknowledging reality, while still knowing that God is sovereign and God's in control. So I would say keep living your life, girl. Keep doing your thing and trust that God's got you, and he's gonna speed up time, make up for lost time. Okay, now we're moving into the dating questions. What are your non-negotiables when it comes to dating? Honestly, sadly, this is the bare minimum and no one's met it. Have a job. Love Jesus, like actually love Jesus. And then you're in the door. But I will say, people don't get second dates. So those are my non-negotiables. Have a job, love Jesus. Number 12, how do you know if someone is truly pursuing you with godly intentions? I would say clarity. You should not be guessing if someone is pursuing you. And then obviously prayer and community. Like, if you are not praying about it, and praying about it, not like, God, I want this to work, but like, God, I want your will. So if this doesn't work, I will be fine. And then being honest with community. I can't tell you how many friends will like present their relationship one way, and then you find out later that there were so many other things happening. We all do that. We all censor things to give the best, to present the best to other people. That is a dangerous game to play, especially with someone you're marrying. So being really upfront and honest with your community, choosing certain people and telling them, hey, I need to be honest with you in this relationship. So when things happen, I'm going to tell you the full truth, and I need you to ask me questions to make sure that I'm giving you the full truth. What is your view on dating apps as a Christian? I'm going to give you my view on dating apps, and then I'm going to give you how it's working in my life. My view on dating apps, I think it's an incredible tool that God can use. I can't tell you how many of my friends have met their husbands, their godly, Christian, loving, incredible husbands on dating apps. I am for them, think they're great. For me, it doesn't work. I spent the last year on dating apps. Went on a few dates. And honestly, just like the caliber of guy that I'm looking for, I did not find. However, I do believe they exist. So for me, it's a no, but for you, it may be a yes. Ask God. Would you ever date someone who's new in their faith? I don't know this answer. Maybe. I think it's hard to think in hypotheticals. So I would have to know this person, and we would take it slow for sure. How do you guard your heart in dating without being closed off? I think not letting it progress in your mind faster than it's progressing in real life is one way to guard your heart. I think two, giving what the relationship prescribes, in that like as the relationship progresses, you can give more. Like you don't have to give everything up front. And again, like doing it in community is another way to guard your heart. What's the difference between godly standards and unrealistic expectations? Godly standards are biblical. Unrealistic expectations are probably not fruits of the Spirit. So I think that's an easy way to kind of decipher there. How do you know if you're ready to date? Ask Jesus. I don't know. I don't think there's a formula. I think if you have the desire and you would like to date, ask the Lord. Number 18, what do you think healthy Christian dating should look like? I think it should be in community with accountability. I think it should be surrendered to Jesus. I think you guys should be upfront, clear, intentional, and I don't think it should last forever. As in, the dating shouldn't last forever. How do you set physical boundaries in dating? Be upfront early on about what that is. Before feelings set in, be honest about what that looks like for you. And what's biblical. And have people that you're going to be accountable to. All right, there's several questions about future husband. Do you pray for your future husband every day? I do. Sometimes it's a formal thing or a journal, and sometimes it's just like throughout my day when I think about him. What specifically do you pray over him? Everything I think of. Every morning I usually am praying that he has a good day, that he has wisdom and clarity in his decisions, that the Lord draws him closer to his heart. Those are like my go-to. And then throughout the day, whatever I think of, I pray for him, his heart, his family, all of that. Okay, I love this question. I've gotten it a million times. Do you believe that God tells you who your husband is ahead of time? Do I believe God can? Yes. Do I believe God does? Sure. Do I believe he does as often as people think? No, I do not. I think there's probably 1,000 girls on TikTok right now in my comments who believe that God's told them who their husband is, and that guy has no clue. I think that some of them are probably right. I would say 950 of them aren't right about it. I think it's really dangerous to not keep it. Okay, let me rephrase. I think that there is a way to think that you hear from God and keep it surrendered to God, What I get concerned about, and why I'm kind of being sarcastic, and I repent. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be sarcastic, because I know that a lot of people hold this like really close to their chest, me being one of them, previously. I would say that what I see most often, and what scares me for all of these women who believe that God's told them that who their husband is that they are holding it so tightly, and they are asking God from signs from that lens. So of course, everything that happens, you're like, oh, that was a sign, God must be answering me. And I think it's dangerous. I really do. I think that it has to be something that you're just like continuing to live your life with this little idea that like you think God said this. And I think when God makes it happen, then you can be like, yes, God said it. But I think until then, it is dangerous. It's a dangerous line to walk, and you could miss out on what God actually has for you. So I would say just keep it surrendered to God, and don't hold so tightly to it. Yeah, okay. How do you trust God with the timing of marriage? What else are you gonna do? Be mad about it until it happens? No, I'd rather just keep it surrendered to God and just, yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. I think I go back to either you trust God or you don't. That's what I tell myself all the time, like daily. Either you trust God or you don't. And so, I don't know. It's just a thing where you have to choose to trust. Do you think there's only one person God has for you? I love this because it's controversial. Do I think that there are hundreds of people that you're compatible with and that you can make a good marriage work with? 1,000,000,000,000%, yes. Do I think that there is a perfect will for your life? Also, yes. Do I believe that your steps are ordered? Also, yes. So I have a hard time believing that one of the most important decisions you'll make in your life, God doesn't have a plan for. I don't know. I think there's many people that you could be attracted to and that you can make it work, but do I believe that God has one person in mind for you? Maybe. I think the answer is probably yes, for me. I don't know if that's biblical, so don't lean into that. How do you prepare yourself to be a wife one day? I have been really introspective. I think that's been the key. It's just like really thinking about the areas where I need work emotionally, physically, skill-wise. I cannot cook to save my life. So like I've been trying to work on that. So yeah, I think it's less about being a wife and more about like truly like being a better person and like being the person God's called me to be. So that's what I work on. Do you think you'll know quickly when you meet him? I hope so. I cannot confirm yes or no. I think that because so much time has passed, I think that there could be a fear that he's not the right person more than a fear that he is. But I think so. I think that I've been praying about it for so long, and me and God have had some really good conversations about it. So I think I'll know, but I'm not gonna just like throw everything out and be like, yep, this is it. I think I'll take it at the pace that God leads. The last question I think is an incredible question. It says, how do you remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to whether you're married? I think that if girls got this, their life would be so much happier. Like, God made you as a person before he made you as a wife. God made you as a person before he made you as a mother. And if you don't get this right now, you're going to be, oh man, like insecurities galore in both marriage and motherhood, because you're going to, again, your intrinsic worth will be tied to those people who are going to live their own lives. So I think honestly being single longer has helped with that, because I can only get my worth right now from the things that I'm doing and who I am, which makes it a little bit easier than trying to say, oh, I'll be a whole person, or oh, my life will matter once I'm married. My life matters now, and thankfully I have people in my world who show me that. I matter now. My church shows me that I matter now. God shows me that I matter now. I show myself that I matter now. So I think it's all about perspective. Okay, I think I answered seriously like 50 questions. So, wow. Thanks guys for doing 31 days of praying for your future husband with me. I really enjoyed it and I'm excited to see where we go from here. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.